Friend, come sit closer for a moment. Let this old man breathe a little before he starts talking. My hips just made a sound that scared even me. There we go. Now listen, I want to tell you something real, something many people are too afraid to admit out loud. Loneliness. That thing isn't a visitor, it's a squatter. It moves in, sits on your emotional sofa, puts its feet on the table, and eats all your snacks. And when the person you've shared your whole life with suddenly disappears, loneliness becomes the loudest, rudest, most talkative thing in the room. I learned that the hard way. When my wife, Margaret, passed, friend, I felt like someone had turned the volume of the world all the way down. Every corner of the house felt haunted, not by ghosts, but by memories so sweet they hurt. Her mug on the table, her hairbrush still on the dresser, her favorite chair, the one she sat on like a queen judging the chaos of life. All of it. You know the feeling, don't you? That sinking heaviness in the chest that doesn't announce itself, it just arrives. Some mornings it wakes up before you do. Some nights it sits on the edge of your bed. The ache, the silence, the empty side where someone used to breathe beside you. That's what I want to talk about today. From one old beating heart to a younger one who understands the weight of love and loss. Now, don't you start crying yet. Save that for later. This story's long, and if we both cry from the start, the floor might flood. Let me take you back to the first morning after Margaret left the world. I woke up and instinctively reached for her hand, but all I found was a cold sheet. I lay there for a moment, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I'd somehow traveled to an alternate universe where everything looked the same but felt different. I got up, shuffled into the kitchen, and poured myself a cup of coffee, black and strong, the way Margaret hated it. She always made hers with enough sugar to send a buffalo into a coma. Every morning she'd say, "Paul, life is bitter enough. Coffee shouldn't be." And I'd say, "But you married me anyway, so clearly you don't mind bitter things." She'd swat me with a towel. That woman's aim was diddly. But that morning, no towel, no laugh, no sugar spilled on the countertop because she never learned how to pour anything carefully. Just silence. And that's when loneliness tapped me on the shoulder and whispered, "It's just you now." I didn't answer it. I'm stubborn like that. Instead, I talked to the toaster for a while. Friend, let me tell you, that toaster was a terrible conversationalist. But the first lesson I learned is this: the world doesn't stop moving just because your heart does. Even when you feel like your roof has fallen, the sun still comes up, birds still annoyingly chirp, neighbors still mow their lawns too early on Sundays. Life keeps rolling like a shopping cart with one broken wheel. But loneliness doesn't disappear because life moves. No, it follows you around, tapping your ribs, reminding you that someone is missing. It follows you into the bedroom, into the kitchen, even into the grocery store. Oh, friend, that place will hurt you. Let me tell you what happened to me at the grocery store. There I was, pushing my cart like a man trying to outrun his thoughts, when I passed by Margaret's favorite spaghetti sauce. Now, you must understand, Margaret cooked like she was feeding an army. I don't know where she learned that, but there were only two of us. Two, and she still made meals big enough to rescue a small village. Every time I saw that spaghetti sauce, I'd tease her, "Honey, you planning to start an Italian restaurant?" Well, that day, without thinking, I reached for 2 jars, not 1, 2, because for 54 years I always bought 2. Then I stopped, stared at the jars, and felt my chest split in 2. That's when I cried in the pasta aisle. right between the penne and the linguine. And because it was a weekday morning, the only other person there was a toddler who looked at me like, "Sir, you're embarrassing us both." But crying isn't weakness. Crying is the pressure valve of the soul. Friend, if you are facing loneliness right now, if the person who loved you, argued with you, nagged you, protected you, annoyed you, and adored you is gone, let me tell you something from the deepest part of this 80-year-old heart. Loneliness is not the enemy. Loneliness is the reminder that you loved deeply and were loved deeply in return. To feel lonely after losing someone, that is not a curse. That is the last echo of love. Now, don't misunderstand me. Loneliness can still knock the wind out of you, but it's the proof that your heart was capable of something extraordinary. Still, how do we live with it? How do we wake up day after day and face an empty kitchen, an empty chair, an empty bed? Well, I discovered the second lesson the hard way. One evening, about a month after Margaret passed, I was sitting on the couch feeling particularly sorry for myself. I was drowning in silence so thick I could hear my own heartbeat. Then suddenly, bang, a loud crash from outside. Now, here's the funny part. My old brain immediately went, "Margaret?" like she'd just knocked over a potted plant or something. I ran outside like a man possessed, only to discover it was a neighbor's cat knocking over a trash bin. And that's when it hit me. I was living more in the past than in the present. I was holding on so tightly to the life I used to have that I wasn't giving myself permission to build a new one. Friend, here comes a little wisdom from my wrinkles. A heart that refuses to open again becomes a museum, beautiful but frozen. So I started opening tiny windows back into the world. The first window was going outside, then joining a little community book club. I didn't even read the book, but the cookies they served were exceptional. Then calling my kids more often. They acted shocked every time I called. Apparently, I've gained a reputation. Then talking to my late wife. Yes, out loud, daily. And no, that doesn't make you crazy. Love doesn't disappear just because a person does. And somewhere along the way, I realized something magical. Loneliness doesn't fade by force. It fades by connection. Even if those connections are small, even if they're imperfect, even if they're silly. Friend, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how loneliness becomes louder at night? It's like the stars are gossiping about your sadness. That's when you need this next part. Listen carefully. Here's how you fight loneliness. You build a life worth living, even if you have to start from the floor. You let new friendships in. You keep talking to the person you miss. You find routines that make mornings bearable. You fill your space with music, light, aroma, warmth. You let love continue through the way you live, not just the way you remember. And somewhere in the middle of all this, friend, somewhere between your tears, your memories, and your laughter, you rediscover yourself. The you that existed before you were a wife, before you were a caregiver, before you were someone's whole world. And let me tell you something, at 80 years old, that version of you is still in there. She just needs a hand getting up. Now, before I keep going, and trust me, this story has legs, I want to invite you, gently and warmly, to do something important. If you're watching this video, if you're listening to my old voice rambling like your favorite neighborhood grandfather, take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Not for me, but so this message reaches someone out there who feels alone tonight, someone who needs to know they're not broken, someone who needs this story like a lifeline. All right, come here, friend. Take my hand, because now we're going deeper. Let me tell you the moment that changed everything, the moment where loneliness didn't just sit beside me, it spoke to me. And no, I wasn't hallucinating, at least I don't think I was. But at my age, who knows? It happened one night in the most unexpected way. It happened one night in the most unexpected way. I was lying on my bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about absolutely nothing and everything at the same time. You know that feeling, friend, when your mind isn't quiet, but it isn't loud either, just humming like an old refrigerator. I wasn't crying, I wasn't talking, I wasn't even moving much. I was just existing. And then, you won't believe this, I felt something shift in the room. The air felt different, warmer, softer, like someone had placed a blanket over my soul. And for a moment, I swear I could almost hear Margaret humming that little tune she always sang when she cooked, the one that sounded like a bird with rhythm but no melody. I turned my head, expecting to see her in the doorway, wearing her old blue sweater, the one she claimed she was going to throw away for 20 years but never did. Of course, no one was there. But that moment lit a tiny light inside me. Not because she was actually there, but because I realized something powerful. Loneliness doesn't only come when someone is gone. Sometimes it comes because we stop letting ourselves feel connected to what remains. That very night, I sat up, turned on the bedside lamp, which flickered like a horror movie scene every time I touched it, and I whispered into the room, "All right, Margaret, I hear you. I need to start living again." And friend, the silence that followed didn't feel empty. It felt approving. From that night on, I promised myself something. I would not let loneliness sit in my house like an uninvited guest, eating my grapes and judging my old man pajamas. I would face it, not run from it, not numb it, face it. And you know how you face loneliness? Not by pretending it's not there, but by making your world big enough that loneliness doesn't fill the whole space. Let me tell you how I did it. Maybe these steps can walk beside you too. First thing I did was open the windows, literally and emotionally. Fresh air changes everything. I know people say that all the time, but I swear there's a reason poets keep talking about the wind. When you open your windows, you tell the world, "I'm still here," and the world says, "Welcome back." Second thing, I rearranged the house. Not because I wanted to forget Margaret, but because I wanted to remember myself. I moved the couch, I changed the curtains, I put her favorite blanket on the back of the living room chair so it felt like a hug instead of a reminder, and I placed her picture near the little table near the window where the sunlight touched it every morning. Then I started cooking again. Now I'm going to be honest with you, friend. The smoke alarm and I became very close friends. It screamed at me more often than Margaret ever did, but I kept trying. And every time I burned something, which was often, I could almost hear her laugh, that warm, teasing laugh that said, "Paul, how did you survive before me?" But here's where the story gets fun. You're gonna laugh. One morning, while I was sitting at the kitchen table eating the saddest scrambled eggs in human history, I heard a knock on the door. I opened it and found my neighbor, Linda, holding a plate. She smiled and said, "Paul, honey, we smelled something burning. Are you okay?" I said, "Oh, yes, that was just me cooking breakfast." And she put her hand on my shoulder and said, "Sweetheart, breakfast shouldn't smell like that." That was the moment I joined the Community Cooking Club. Friend, joining that club changed my life. Because loneliness hates community. It dies in the presence of laughter. It shrinks when you share a table with others. And that club, mostly women around your age, friend, welcomed me like a lost son who couldn't cook but tried hard anyway. I realized something important. People don't just heal you with their love, they heal you with their presence. Every meeting made the silence at home feel less heavy. Every smile made the evenings a little warmer. Every shared story reminded me that grief did not make me unique, it made me human. Now here's the twist. Pay attention to this part. It might be the most important lesson in the whole story. One afternoon, while we were rolling dough for some pastry I still can't pronounce properly, an older lady, let's call her Evelyn, said something that slid straight into my soul. She said, "Loneliness is not a punishment, it's a bridge. It carries you from the life you had to the life you're meant to have next." I stood there, dough on my hands, tears in my eyes, and I realized loneliness is not a wall, it's a transition. A messy, painful, confusing, exhausting transition, but like all transitions, it doesn't last forever. But you must walk through it. Don't sit in it, don't hide in it, walk through it, even if your legs shake. Even if your heart feels like it's dragging behind you, walk. And friend, as you walk, something else happens, something beautiful. Your memories stop hurting you and start helping you. One morning, I woke up and felt something different. Not emptiness, but gratitude. Gratitude that I had someone worth missing. Gratitude that I got to love deeply in this lifetime. Gratitude that I wasn't alone in the world. Not really. Because the truth is, the people we love don't disappear. They simply change the way they stay with us. Margaret is in my habits, my songs, my jokes, my stories. She's right here in my chest, sitting comfortably like she paid rent. And she is with me every time I choose to live instead of curl up. And friend, the same is true for you. Your husband, your wife, whoever you loved, they didn't leave you empty. They left you full, full of memories, full of laughter, full of shared life, full of love that still echoes today. You don't face loneliness by erasing them. You face it by building a life they would be proud to see. Now, I want to tell you about the night everything changed for me, truly changed. I was sitting on the porch, sipping my evening tea, when I saw an old couple walking by. They were holding hands, whispering, laughing, the whole romantic package. And for a second, the loneliness punched me right in the gut. But instead of letting it swallow me whole, I did something I never thought I could do. I smiled. Do you know why? Because I realized love didn't stop with me. It continues in others. And knowing that made the world feel not lonely, but connected. Friend, listen carefully to this. Loneliness is real. Grief is real. Pain is real. But so is healing. So is connection. So is love, even after loss. You have more life to live, more people to meet, more mornings to wake up to, more stories to tell, more laughter to share, more joy to discover, more you to become. And if you ever feel like loneliness is winning, remember this old man's words. You survived the unimaginable. You can survive the invisible. And now, before I close this story, come here, friend, lean in a little. I want to tell you something, softly, with a little humor, a little warmth, and a lot of heart. You don't have to leave yet. I mean the video, not the planet. Stay with me. If you've watched this far, if you've cried with me, laughed with me, nodded with me, rolled your eyes at my old man jokes, then don't go wandering off into the wilderness of YouTube where a cat playing piano or someone blending a pineapple might steal you away. No, you stay right here. Because on your screen, right there, we picked 2 more videos just for you. 2 of the best ones. 2 that'll hold your heart the way this one did. Click on one of them, friend, whichever looks warmer to your soul. Think of it as walking with me a little longer, or sitting on my porch while we talk about the next thing life throws at us. You don't have to rush, you don't have to be alone. Just tap one. Don't worry, I'll be waiting on the other side of the screen, probably with tea, maybe with cookies, and definitely with more stories than you asked for. Go on, choose one. Let's keep talking.